I am muted. Great start. I was gonna say before I decided to just talk into oblivion. It was Star Wars night tonight in at the Columbus Blue Jackets and Calgary Flames game, and yeah, definitely not the chosen one. Where the Calgary Flames weren't the chosen ones tonight in this contest. A bad performance. A loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets tonight. Welcome to Game Over Calgary. My name is Auddie, and joined today making the debut for the season, my good pal James Johnson. JJ, how you doing, brother?
Auddie, how's it going? Good to be back. Wish it was under better circumstances in terms of Flames, but
You and I both, and you made a good point before we went live. The over under, we haven't set that yet, but over under that the Audi curse gets brought up because it's something that is clearly alive and well, and something that has transitioned from last season to this season, as I am now 1-2 as the host of Game Over Calgary, which is not good, not the best. I think Peter's what? No, so Peter's 1-1 then, right? Is the math mathing?
1-1,
One zero and
I think.
no, he would. I did the Washington loss,
Okay, so
so he
you're 1-1 and he's
okay.
1 and I
He's
think.
okay. Well, either way, it's
Too many numbers
too many
for
numbers.
7:45 on a Friday night.
Too many numbers, and yeah, not enough good numbers for the Calgary Flames tonight as they lose 3-1 at the hands of Johnny Gaudreau, who turned to the dark side against the
Who?
Calgary Flames that a couple summers ago, and we're still not over that. He's not. I know a lot of people are still upset, but either way, we're gonna get into it. Not a fantastic game. I was looking forward to Star Wars night. Actually, I do love me some Star Wars. So I guess before we get into breaking down that freaking abysmal performance, favorite Star Wars character?
Ooh,
We got to start with something fun before we get too negative up in
question.
this.
A question I didn't anticipate this. Is like animated included, I'm
Any
guessing?
single
Okay.
character.
Oh, I'm gonna go Ahsoka because
Yeah.
Ahsoka's cool. I feel like that's like a lot of Star Wars fans. That's like the go-to nowadays. So I'm gonna go with
Ahsoka for me or Anakin. I'm a big Anakin
nice.
guy. Um, but yeah, on Star Wars night in Columbus, the Calgary Flames decided to not show up, and we're going to talk about it because there's a lot to get into tonight. But let me take you back to the first period a long time ago in a galaxy not so far away. The first period for the Calgary Flames. Um, yeah, it was a period. It was you could tell right off the hop, and I know a lot of people on Twitter, X, whatever the hell it's called today. It's going to change tomorrow, I'm sure. Um, a lot of people were posting about how you could tell it was the second half of a back-to-back. Looked kind of sluggish. Just the old cliche of not showing up on time was very, very evident in that first period. What did you think about that first frame from the Flames?
Yeah, I would say they kind of looked slower than usual, and I'm gonna try and be nice because it's still early in the season, but team definitely looked slow. And yeah, the first period, it was pretty much nothing happening besides Nas and Kadri fighting, which was kind of fun. I'm sure we'll get into that in a bit, but yeah, like this team just looked so slow, and then you could tell they were on a back-to-back for sure. It was tough. It was tough to watch.
Yeah, it was less than ideal, and that Kadri fight. We'll touch on it in a little bit, but if you're a Tate McRae fan, you're gonna want to stick around because we got some sweet revenge for what do you think her fans are called? Tater tots, tasty
Ooh,
taters. I don't know. It's got to be something
Peter
tater.
Tot.
Tasty taters were like the OG tater tots here. Um,
Like that.
but yeah, looked sluggish, not great. Not to say Columbus looked particularly better, but the Flames just definitely didn't do enough to. This is going to sound so ridiculous because they lost the game. They definitely didn't do enough to look like the better team in the first period. Um, I was a little bit impressed. I know Dylan Dubé has been taking a bit of slack but it's warranted. I was impressed with his first period. Um,
Hmm.
I think he looked better than expected. He's not been fantastic to start the season. The preseason was rough to our boy number 29. A lot of people saying Sam Bennett 2.0, and I don't know. What do you think? Is there some potential there for Dylan Dubé to be the next coming of Sam Bennett on the Calgary Flames?
Like, I think he's already been given more of an opportunity than Bennett ever did.
Yeah,
And I don't know. Dubé, like a lot of Flames fans like him and want to lock him up and stuff. I'm just like, I don't know. Can you do what the Avalanche did with Newhook and trade him for a second at the draft or something? Like, I don't know. Is he really worth keeping around? I
does
don't know.
does
But he was
someone see something in him that the Flames think they see in him?
he's still young, you never know.
Yeah,
But
he is still young enough,
that
but
line was, I think, the Flames' best forward line tonight. Like
mhm.
Ruzicka, Kadri, Dubé, which I have not been a fan of in the 4 games prior. So that was a nice change tonight, at least. They
Yeah,
didn't look awful.
yeah. Kadri's been just okay. You know,
Yeah.
like it sucks. Like everybody, you either loved the signing or you were hating the signing for that dollar amount and that term when it happened 2 summers ago. And I hate to say it, but Nazem Kadri up to this point is just a shell of his former self. He's really not the Nazem Kadri that was. Obviously, we don't want the suspension version of Nazem Kadri that we saw in Toronto and briefly there in Colorado before they ended up winning a cup. He was a very effective. He was super effective on that Avs team. But that Avs team was also star-studded with guys like Cale Makar and guys like Nathan McKinnon,
Pretty
who
good
are
team.
just okay at hockey. Shout out Cale Makar, Calgary boy, AJHL product. We love to see it. Come home, please. Come home, please. But
2027.
yeah, 20. Everybody's counting down the days until Cale Makar becomes a UFA. But yeah, a shell of his former self. I found so far through the first 4 games this year, at least, um, he's shooting the puck a lot more, but his chances haven't been great. He hasn't been hitting the net, uh, and I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. It's still early. Like maybe I'm being way too critical, overthinking this whole thing, which I've never done. I've never been
No,
one to
no, me
overthink and be
neither.
too critical. Yeah, Flames fans don't do that.
No,
That would be ridiculous. That would
no,
be
nope,
ridiculous if they did anything
never
like
done
that.
it. Nope.
But really hoping though that Nazem Kadri can find his game. Jonathan Huberdeau is looking good. Um,
He is.
maybe yeah, good, but like there's still a little bit that needs work. Uh,
We for
defensively,
$10.5 million, you still need a little bit more, but
yeah,
it's
yeah. Defensive, like in his own end, hasn't been stellar. This is just strictly the eye test because I'm not the biggest of numbers guys. I'm trying. I'm trying to get to your level of number
eh,
of being a number guy. But yeah, you expect a little bit more out of him. Obviously, for that dollar amount, the season he had last year wasn't stellar. Um, he's producing, which is good. Producing early. Hopefully, it gets even better. But your thoughts on Huberto so far?
yeah. I think, well, Pat Steinberg put out a tweet. Shout outs to Pat. I don't know what day that was, sometime last week, and it
Yeah,
was like Huberto leads the team in like scoring chances, high danger scoring chances, and this and that. And I was kind of like, wait, what? Because from an eye test, I was like, he's been better than last year, but I didn't expect him to be leading the team. And sure enough, go to natural stat trick, you type in blah blah blah, and Jonathan Huberdeau is at the top in every single list. So, uh, good folks over at the Win Column did a nice deep dive there.
hey, I
Win
know
Column,
them.
the wincolumn.ca.
Shout out.
Subtle plug there.
Oh, plug away, my friend. Your work and everybody's work is incredible.
Thank you,
Um,
thank you.
but yeah,
Yeah, but
good piece.
we did a little. I can't remember who exactly did a deep dive, but one of our great writers did a deep dive on that. So go check that out. But it's been good because Huberto, he got his wish. He got that I'm going to be nice and say a horrible coach fired. And now the ball's kind of in his court, right? Like, okay, you got what you wanted. You have $84 million. What else? Like, it's time to show
Time to
up, dude.
step it
Like,
up. Yeah,
yeah,
time to um put your money where your mouth is. Is that the
bingo.
word? Is that the put your money where your stick is? I
Put
don't know.
the puck
There's
where.
84 million reasons why Jonathan Huberdeau should be a
There we
little
go.
bit better than he was last
Thank you.
year. So
That's good.
to kind of summarize how we're feeling here, I think that's a good way to do it. Okay, I do want to talk about as I voice crack. I had to call that out. I do want to talk about the Kadri fight. Little old versus a little young Cole Sillinger. It was more like, it was kind of like in episode 3 when Count Dooku and Anakin
Oof.
Skywalker are fighting it out. Obi-Wan's down there all passed out and whatnot. Young versus old, maybe not quite as powerful in that regard, but the age reference is there. And yeah, I liked to see a little bit of tenacity and a little bit of a spark from Nazem Kadri. If anything else, if he's not going to do anything else, that sounds really bad, but I mean, like, truly, if he's not going to produce in any other way, at least getting that spark. You saw the bench. AJ Greer was hyping him up. Kadri looked over at the bench, gave him a let's go, and it was hype. But yeah, obviously, if you're a Tate McRae fan, we mentioned it before, you're probably happy with the results of that fight. If you don't know who Tate McRae is, you live under a rock. If you don't know the history with Cole Sillinger, then just Google it. There's a really good song out that may or may not be about him, where she's
Really?
riding a Zamboni, and now
Really?
she's like the face of being an ambassador for the NHL, which
Heck
all the
yeah,
power
she
to
is.
her. That was like she took that breakup and just ran with it. But it was good to see that. I liked the scrap. Um,
Yeah, like Kadri coming into it, a lot of people kind of said he was a Kachuk replacement, right? Being the guy kind of a pest and getting under other teams' skin and pissing off other players. And last year, we didn't really see that. The beginning of this year, haven't seen it so far. So yeah, tonight it was very nice to see that side of Kadri because, as you said, it fires up the boys, and yeah,
the
good for Tate
intangibles.
McRae.
The
Tate
intangibles, yeah.
McRae.
She was a Flames fan with the rest of us tonight, wasn't she?
Oh, I think she was. And if you're watching Tate, just wanted to say what's up. Just throwing that out there. Yeah.
Oh, shoot your
Oh,
shot, boy. Shoot your
yeah.
shot. Look how it worked for Travis Kelce on a podcast. He's dating Taylor
Yeah.
Swift now. They're just the
You
power
never know.
couple of the world.
You never know.
Um, that's too funny. Um, yeah. So another note there from the first period. There was a brief stint there where the Flames had um, a bunch of good chances on the power play. Um, and then they take a 5-on-3. They make nothing of it. The power play kind of looking more like the Kirk Muller play as of late. Moving the puck a lot better, I think. Slight increase in the moving the puck game and just the end result of getting that elusive power play goal for the Calgary Flames. Just another stinker. My note was actually the Flames pee-pee is stinky. The Flames have a stinky pee-pee tonight. Why is
It's
that so
like
funny?
I don't know. I don't have the humor of like an 8-year-old. What do you mean?
The comments are going to be great. I can't wait for J Money to clip that one, and it's going to be all over Twitter tomorrow. And then I get a pink slip from Steve tomorrow morning. Um,
Stinky pee pee.
yeah, the Flames have a stinky pee-pee. Um, hey, we got to keep it light because there's not much to clamor about in tonight's game. It's always so hard. As a side note, you were on the show a bunch last year. I don't remember what your record was in terms of being a guest to how many wins and losses, but there weren't a whole lot of wins and there weren't a whole lot of games where it was like, damn, this is going to be a great game over. I can't wait to turn the camera on and put the microphone in front of my mouth and talk about this Calgary Flames team for 30 to 45 minutes without, sounding all miserable and depressed and whatnot. So you got to keep it light. You got to have fun. If there's
Yeah.
anything I learned from last year, the frustration, you just have to turn into having a good time.
Yeah.
And I will let everybody know, if you were around last year and you were here for Sir Bagalos, I regret to inform you that he is no longer with us. So we will have to try. Hopefully, we don't have to have a replacement for Sir Bagalos. That's the end goal. But so far, man, maybe I should start looking for something else because it hasn't been stellar. Okay. So everybody knows, just a bit of housekeeping before we move on. Like I mentioned, this is Game Over Calgary. I'm Auddie. He is James Johnson from the Win Column. Save your questions for the end. Different to last year, we're not going to be reading questions throughout the show. Save them for the end. Typical or similar to how they do it on SDP, we're going to do a press conference at the end of the show where we go through your questions, answer them, and have some fun. Get some Star Wars questions in too. As I mentioned, Star Wars night at the Columbus Blue Jackets game. Moving on, one thing that was the kryptonite of the Calgary Flames seemed to be a ridiculous amount of odd man rushes. I don't think it was a stellar night for the Flames blue line. Some terrible pinches at bad times. Some just dogging it back from your own end. They had multiple 2-on-1s, a couple 3-on-1s. And for the most part, aside from, I believe it was the second goal that Columbus scored, which was on a 2-on-1. That was the goal that, let me check his name here. I'm going to pull a Sutter and actually...
What was his number?
Yeah, what was his number? What was his name? It was the Justin Danforth goal. Go ahead and check Hockey DB on that one. But if there's ever a puck doku where it's players who have scored against the Calgary Flames and Columbus Blue Jackets intersection, go ahead and use Justin Danforth for probably 0.001%. But aside from that goal, which you can't even really blame on him, it was a defensive collapse going the other way. He stood to the task. He looked good. Did you see the same things that I saw in terms of Markstrom kind of looking a little bit better than what we saw last year?
He back, baby.
He back, baby.
It's probably too early to exclaim that, but it's been nice to not see Markstrom let in a goal in the first shot every second game, or rush out halfway across the ice to get a puck and then trip and fall and get scored on. Like,
oh my God, I was at that game. We were talking about that on Game Over, the first one with Brady.
Last year was just like a weird fever dream, man. Like,
Wasn't that a Monahan goal too?
probably.
Or he got an assist on it. It was against Montreal.
Probably.
It was bad. Yeah. Calling it a fever dream is I think putting it a little mildly, don't you think?
Yeah, maybe more like a nightmare.
It's like when somebody's asking you how you doing and you say living the dream, and they go, you don't have to lie, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, it's more like a nightmare. That's kind of how it felt last season for the Calgary Flames, and being someone who covers this team.
So far, and I'm going to preface that by saying, so far, Markstrom has looked really good. And that's very nice to see, because that's the goaltender that Jacob Markstrom is. I don't think the guy last year, I don't know who that was.
That was Makeup Jarkstrom.
Makeup Jarkstrom.
His evil Swedish twin. Makeup Jarkstrom. That's going to be a meme tomorrow too.
Makeup Jarkstrom.
Oh, yeah, it's again, it's early. We're not here with Sir Bagalos and saying that this is the end of the world as we know it for the Calgary Flames. But things that need to clean it up. There's little things that are game in and game out kind of poisoning them. And look, the end goal, we want to see this team go on a run. We want to see them take off here and have some fun and give Flames fans more to be happy about. I was thinking about it today, JJ. Like, we're not even that far removed, and it's gonna suck to bring it up again, but we're not that far removed from the era of, the Sean Monahan era, the Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk era, the purple Gatorade line era. Like, that was fun, and I genuinely miss that stuff. Like, genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, with all of my being, miss it.
Take me back.
Take
Like,
me back. Take me home, country roads.
if there's like a time machine to what, like 2015, let's go.
Yeah,
Hop on board, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go back. It'd be, yeah, like Calgary actually had elite talent. There was personality on the team. The team was fun.
I know. It was
uh,
it's been rough sailing since, um but I miss it. I miss it, and I was thinking about that today. I was thinking about that. Funny enough, when I saw Johnny Gaudreau on the ice for the Columbus Blue Jackets, it brought back all kinds of memories, all kinds of feels. I
I
just
still
want
don't like
I just
that. It's
want that
just like,
again so badly, and I know that a lot of Flames fans are in that same camp with me. Okay, if you're watching along, thank you for being here. Please be sure smash the like, hit subscribe if you're new to SDPN. This is Game Over Calgary, Auddie and JJ. Yeah, get in on the conversation. I see there's some good chat going on in our live chat. Sorry for those listening back on playback. There's no chat there, but I hope you're enjoying the content. Be sure to share it on social media as we get into our final segments here of the show as we put a bow on this episode of
there we
Game
go.
Over Calgary. It's not Game Over Calgary till I pull out a recycled Peter Klein line, isn't it? I so stole that from him, and I don't think he's used it since. He's just said, "Here you go. That this thing is yours now. You have taken this way too far. This was my thing." And yeah, I definitely stole that from him. Continuing along this game, just on the topic of Markstrom, we got to talk about that frickin' robbery on Adam Fantilli when Markstrom looked him dead in the eye and said, "Adam, I am your father."
Oh wow. Oof. What a reference. You're on fire tonight.
Buddy, I was taking notes this whole game. I'm like, Star Wars night, gotta put in the Star Wars references.
Count Dooku versus Anakin. We got famous Vader quote. What else? Jeez.
Oh, we've got a few. Yeah, we'll keep
You're
them going
killing
though.
it.
We'll
Kill.
keep them going. But that was a nasty save. That
That was
was a lot of fun to
unbelievable.
watch, and I thought that could have been like the turning point of the game. I was hoping that that's a save that everybody's like, "Holy shit!" Like we gotta step our asses up here. This guy is bailing us out. Odd man rushes out the ass. Freaking robbing Adam Fantilli, who still hasn't scored. I'm like, for sure. I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is it. They played it before the game that Adam Fantilli is yet to score in the NHL, and it's going to happen against the Calgary Flames because why
Right.
wouldn't it?
Right.
Right?
You just like, I mean, myself personally, I went over to Sports Interaction and I saw, and I definitely put a couple dollars, if I'm gonna be honest, on Adam Fantilli scoring against the Flames
You
tonight
should have.
because
I almost put some on Gaudreau, but I'm glad I didn't.
yeah, because it seems like the Flames are either the team that somebody scores their first goal in like 71 games or their first NHL goal,
Mm-hmm.
or like Alex Ovechkin. It's
There's no in
nobody else.
between. Yeah, there's no in
And
between.
unfortunately Leon Draisaitl, but
Yeah, that guy's kind of
yeah,
good at hockey, as much
yeah,
as I hate to admit it.
but nobody
Um,
else does this. No one else.
no, no. I wanted to get your 2 cents. I just keep segueing because there's so many little things I wanted to talk about with you as it's our first show back together, the OG Barnburner crew. Um, anyways, what did you think about Coronado tonight? Not his best game.
No.
Not his best game whatsoever. Looked a little lazy. Um, just
That one shift where he gets out muscled for the puck and then it goes back into the flame zone and then he gets the puck in the flame zone and then roofs it into like
fires it
the
into the
20 to
300 level at
yeah.
Nationwide Arena.
That's
Oh,
definitely wasn't his best game. And like
No.
with rookies, you see this, right? Like where they go from whatever college AHL where you're playing, I don't know, once a week or twice a week to like every second night or even tonight. That was his second game in 2 nights, right? So it's
Hmm.
definitely an adjustment, and I'm sure like there's been small things that you've seen where you know this guy's gonna be really good, but tonight was
Tonight's
not.
one of those learning games where the coaching staff pulls them in and they're like, okay, this is like this can't keep happening. And it's not like it was detrimental. That shift was bad. It was a
Mm-hmm.
really bad shift. Probably, and this isn't saying much because we're 5 games into his NHL career. Probably the worst shift I've seen this young man play. But
Yeah.
we can chalk it up to so many things, and I hate being so critical this early in the year. On the second half of a back-to-back, everybody's still trying to figure it out, shuffling the lines a little bit, still trying to figure out who meshes well with who. So I don't want to get too over analytical. We'll wait until halfway through the season. We'll have you back on, and then I'm sure this conversation is a lot different
The
than it
Calgary
is now.
Flames need to trade away their entire. No.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. The Calgary
That was-
Flames lost to a 42-year-old Zambo. Wait, that's not them. They didn't do that.
No, they just lost to a third string goalie tonight named Spencer Martin, but it's fine.
Yeah, and
Fine.
it looked like he was gonna have a shutout. It looked like he was
It's
gonna
fine.
get the S word. It was kind of scary for a little bit there. Okay, everybody's still in here. It's great to see. I'm gonna put the call out right now. For some questions. Get your presser questions in right now, and we will go through them shortly. So if you have questions for myself, if you have questions for JJ, if you have questions about the Calgary Flames, about anything about Star Wars, it's Star Wars night in Columbus, drop them into the chat right now. This is your call for questions, and then we will go over them very shortly here. Shortly, like as if you're too short to be a stormtrooper. Get those. James is so sick of my shit right now. He's
No, it's so good.
Matt Coronado, you're a little short to be a stormtrooper, aren't you,
It's like
Johnny Gaudreau?
there's no way anybody else would think of these references. It's so good. It's
That one
like
was off the dome, and it was maybe not my best one, but
geez.
that one was right off the head top there. But yeah, get those questions in into the chats. We'll do our press conference. We don't have a presser sound yet like they do on SDP. We could pretend.
SDP.
The Steve
The
Dangle
Steve
press.
Dangle press conference.
Wow, are you are you voice lady? Are you SDP
Yeah,
voice lady? God
yeah,
damn.
it's me. You got me. You got
Okay.
me.
We got one question in so far. Keep them coming in. Uh, this is a good one. A couple good ones. There's a Star Wars one among them. Tokai number 1. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. Which pair would be a tougher matchup for the Flames? McDavid Celebrini or McDavid Iser? How do you say that? Iserman?
Easterman?
Iserman?
Iserman?
Do you know who that is?
Cole Iserman? Yeah, he's
Okay.
like
This might be a question geared more towards you. This is also a complete drive-by at the Edmonton Oilers, who are stinking even worse than the
so
Flames
funny.
are
I
right
like it.
now.
It's good because if Calgary's doing bad and Edmonton's doing bad, it's not you don't feel as bad as a Flames fan. Like last
No.
year was tough, but now this year we lose a game and it's like look at these guys, right?
Yeah.
Like fine. But I would say what was the question? Which pair would
Which pair
be
would be a tougher matchup for the Flames?
ooh, okay.
McDavid Celebrini or McDavid
I
Iserman?
would say McDavid Iserman because that kid can shoot the puck, and Celebrini again. I don't really know much about prospects, but from what I've heard, Iserman he's got quite the shot, and he could probably would score like 4 goals if he was getting fed by McDavid every game. It would be fun. And yeah,
It would also be a
Edmonton
Flames fan nightmare.
Edmonton definitely needs another first or second overall pick. They haven't had.
If they piss away this McDavid Draisaitl era, this is a story for another time. Maybe we'll talk about it on Game Over Edmonton for the
Dun,
Heritage
dun,
Classic
dun,
next
dun.
weekend. We're gonna do eyes emoji again. Eyes emoji. I've been doing that lately. Everybody
I
hates
like
it.
that. That's good.
Um, Left-handed penman says, "How are clones shorter than each other?" That's a great question. I don't think Republic stormtroopers and clone troopers are the same thing.
That's a good question that I've never thought of because
They're all
they should
just clones of Jango Fett.
they should all be the same height. Yeah. Hmm.
I don't know. If anything, Star Wars taught me that you just don't ask questions, and you just,
Nope.
if it doesn't make sense, it's just part of the story. Like the
Yeah.
entire sequel trilogy. Um, what are your thoughts on the Anderson hit on line at the end of the game? I'm glad, Emily Reinhart, that you asked this question because it's something that I completely forgot to even write down and bring up, but I
Yeah.
did want to touch on. Um, I'll give you my 2 cents, and then JJ can give you his. There's no need for that. That late in the game, I mean, call it. I don't know what people are calling it. I haven't seen anybody really talking about it yet online. Um, it's a blindside ish kind of hit. It's close to the dome. I don't know if he went directly to his head. It looked like it from my TV, but again, I haven't watched it in slow motion. I don't exactly know the breakdown of it. Either way, that late in the game, you're down by 2. Just you don't need to be doing that. It looked like he left his feet a little bit. It was just not a fun one to see. You never like to see players take hits like that. And I hope Line is okay. I don't want to see him get hurt by any stretch, especially after something like that. But in my opinion, yeah, not definitely not a fun one, and definitely unnecessary.
For sure. And yeah, I only saw one quick replay before we hopped on, so I don't really have a solid opinion, but like I think it was what, like 3 seconds left or right at the end. Like it's unnecessary, man. And Anderson can be a bit of a sore loser. We've seen this in the past where like it was against Ottawa, and I don't remember exactly what he did. I think it was like somebody's puck for their like for some
Oh
milestone or
yeah, yeah,
something. I
yeah.
remember he like took it
Was it
or something.
Stutzla?
It
Stutzel?
might have been his like first goal or something. It was quite a few years ago, but like I don't remember. Anyway, Anderson, he has this thing. He can kind of be a bit of a sore loser, and it's like
You could
just
you could say though that that's like passion, you know?
true,
Like
true.
it's passionate. Like but it also comes across as unnecessary. It's just really that shit doesn't need to happen. Um yeah, and then Trent. Hey Trent, good to see you by the way, buddy. Trent here saying unnecessary hit. I think JJ and I are both on the same page that
Yeah,
completely unnecessary. Um, and both of us think that or hope that that Patrick Line is okay. He got up on his own, which is always good to see.
that's good.
It's scary to see hits to the head, high hits like that. Um, never fun to see that. So hopefully he's okay. Okay, couple more for the presser before we wrap it up here on Game Over Calgary. Best line today in terms of dominance. Oh, sorry, I thought that was a question. This is a statement from Weston. Was when Matty was on the first line. I hope he gets more of a look there. Was he? Did
Yeah,
did he play on the
he
first line tonight, or was it just like a
just
late
like
shift?
at the end of the third, I believe he got shifted on the first line for a
Oh,
bit.
okay.
Or was it to start the third?
I
Either way,
thought
he
it
was
was. I
on.
thought it was right after he came out of the box, and he just kind of stayed out there for a little bit. But either way, maybe he did.
He
I
was
might have
there
missed
for a
that.
little bit. So hopefully, I mean, if you have somebody that can finish Huberdeau's dishes, that would be very nice. So I'll take it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think one of the best lines tonight for me was the fourth line, who continued to impress me. Much improved and better looking fourth line than we've seen in a couple seasons here in Calgary.
Oh,
But a welcome change, by the way. Speed. There's a little bit of grit. They move the puck well.
a little
Greer,
bit
I
of
think, was actually
dog,
what's that?
a little bit of
A little
dog.
bit of dog in them. They got that dog in them. Um, but it's fun. It's fun to see a little bit of um, a revamped fourth line compared to what we saw a season and 2 seasons ago.
compared to
in
the
Calgary.
pylon that still has me blocked on Twitter.
Yeah, he's
So
got half the
that's
fan base
good.
blocked on Twitter. Leland Mucic.
Elon Musk.
I started tweeting that so that he wouldn't block me, and he still found it and blocked me. Um, Great show as always. This has been fun. JJ, welcome back. Thanks for doing this. Always a good time to chop it up with you. Tell the people where they can find you.
Well, thank you for having me on.
Of
It's
course.
always a pleasure to chat with my former co-host and talk about my favorite hockey team that I
Your
love
seasonal
so dearly.
depression.
Yeah, it's so fun. But you can find me at on X or whatever the heck it's called now at James Johnson YYC, and then that's also on Instagram and any other social media. And if you want to read some good stuff about the Flames and other teams around the NHL and fantasy and all other types of good stuff, check out thewincolumn.ca or at wincolumncgy on Twitter.
Hell yeah. Check out all that good stuff. As for me, you can find me here every other pretty much Calgary Flames game. The schedule is going to get a little bit different now as Peter and I need different days off. But you can find me here, Game Over Calgary, the conclusion of every Calgary Flames game here on SDPN Sports YouTube channel. You can find me on Twitter at Auddie James. And that's about it. You can find, well, I think I'm on all the other like Twitter knockoffs like Blue Sky and Threads and all that junk too. Yeah, at Auddie James on all of those. Hey, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us. Fourth game into the year. Some things we liked, some things we don't like. Guess what? Lots of time to clean it up. And hopefully they do it soon. They make the jump to light speed here and continue the rest of this season strong as the as the Force Awakens for the Calgary. As I just keep going on and on, I'm like mumbling. I'm like, how many can I fit into here and make JJ just cringe before we hop off? The answer is 2 so far, but it's been good. It's been real. It's been good. It's been real good. Stay safe. Don't drink too much blue milk, and we'll see you guys on the next Game Over Calgary. It's going to be on Sunday against the Detroit Red Wings. I will be hosting that one. Joining me is my friend Jesse over at Thrash 94 Gaming. You would know him from Twitch and all that other fun stuff. NHL 24 streamer. He'll join the show at the conclusion of Calgary Flames and Detroit Red Wings on Sunday. On behalf of my good pal James Johnson, our friends here at SDPN Sports, my name is Auddie James, and we'll talk to you guys on Sunday. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you then.